Hello again! So, how's your job search been going? Today I thought I'd talk to you about some things that you want to maybe look out for. First off, obviously, is pay. If they don't want to tell you how much they're going to pay you, that's clearly a don't even bother. But in terms of pay, you want to make sure that it's something that you can live off of. Don't judge yourself by someone else. Some people can live on a lot less money and still be comfortable. Some people simply cannot. So what I want to suggest to you is that while you're in whatever country you're in, write out a budget. What do you usually buy? How much do you usually spend on things? Just kind of like maybe by week kind of thing, or I did a monthly, so I did an approximate. Okay, this is how much I spend on loans, this is how much I spend on my phone. I actually had the chance to live outside of my home before I took this job, so I also was able to calculate how much money I spent on groceries and water, electric, apartment rent, insurances, anything like that. And try to think of extra things that you do, maybe once a month or maybe twice a year. Like get a haircut, or you go and get something done. I don't know. And if you do a sport, make sure you calculate how much you spend if you go to a gym or if you have to rent a hall or something like that for whatever reason. Make sure you have a pretty good idea of how much on average you spend, and then try to calculate that against what they're offering you to pay. Use whatever is currently available for currency exchange rate and just kind of like go from there. But some things you might not know. Some companies won't help you get an apartment. Nice ones really do. But what that means is that you're going to have to go out and find one. You're going to probably have to pay a realty fee. And you're going to have to pay, most likely, what's called a key deposit, which is pretty much like your first and last rent, I believe it was, and half of like another rent or something like that. I don't really remember. It's been about a year since my roommate Megan and I had to go out and find it. I could probably find her videos if she talks about it and link it over, but pretty much be ready to pay key money. Calculate it like a first and last payment. So you want to add that in if you have to go out and get it yourself. If your company offers to get you housing, find out if they're going to charge you for that. Find out if they're going to deduct an extra amount from your paycheck to pay for that, or if they're just going to connect your rent directly to it. Find out as much as you can, and try to see if they can send you a link or pictures about the apartment that they intend to place you in, if you can. My original company, Fifth Wing, set me up with an apartment, and it was nice. It was good for me. It was pretty much a one bedroom with like this little, and I mean very little, 2 electric burner, tiny sink, no counter space, fridge, microwave, and then there was a separate toilet and shower area. And a tiny little cabinet. And this was one of the Leo Palaces. I liked it. It was good for me. I didn't need a lot of space. I would have liked it because I like to spread out and have things everywhere. But realistically, I didn't need a lot of space. So it was a good apartment for me, especially if you're only going to be here for 1 year and you know you're going to only be here for 1 year. That's a good size for you. Because you're not probably going to go out and buy a whole bunch of furniture. And if you are, well, I assume you want a little bit of a bigger place and you're probably going to stay for a little longer. But again, so circling back, the apartment. Find out if your company is going to help you get one or has one already for you, or if you're on your own. And if you're on your own, make sure that you do as much research into that location before you land there as you can. It's going to be difficult. Some places don't have any English speakers. Some places have English speakers, but they're very like limited vocabulary speakers. And you can't really blame them. They're in their own country. Why would they have your language. So try to take that into account. And also think about transportation. Do you have an international driver's license that works in Japan? Will they require you to get one? If so, make sure you have all the proper paperwork. Ask some questions on that one. How you're gonna have to go about that. Do your best to find out about car taxes in that area. I think someone told me that it was by cylinders in your engine. I'm not 100% sure on that. I personally don't have a car here in Japan. I probably never will because the streets are so narrow and they kind of freak me out. So I'm perfectly content with my bicycle. Do as much research as possible is the obvious answer to everything. And again, things like driver's license, they're probably available online, and they probably have an English version that you can access, and if not, well, just slap into a translator and work your way through it. So find out if you're going to need a driver's license, find out if you need to purchase a car, will there be a car available for you, will they provide a bicycle? If not, are you going to have to need a scooter, and will you have to take the train? If you have to take a train, and if you have to drive a car, find out if they're going to pay any percentage of your travel expenses. Because it will get expensive. Even one stop over can be like 100 yen or 200 yen. It really depends on how far you have to travel for your schools. And sometimes it looks really easy on the maps to get to these places, but you can't always calculate for the hills and the traffic and any mini obstacles you might have to go through. That's going to have to be when you get here, you're going to have to learn kind of thing, which is pretty much something you'd have to do anyways for any other job. So calculate how much you usually spend weekly, monthly, yearly if you want. I'd go by monthly though, that's a little bit like more condensed but still kind of overall. Find out what the company will do to help you with housing. Will they have an apartment ready for you? Will they help you get an apartment, or are you on your own? And number 3, find out about transportation. Will you need a bicycle? Do they have one for you? Will you need a car? Do they have one for you? If you need a car, what will they do with licensure? Do you have an international license that will work in Japan, or do you need to get one? And find out what steps you need to take to get that in the country. And will you need to take the train? And if you need to take the train, how much do you think it's going to cost you? Things like Google Maps can tell you if you type in what you think would be your closest train station, or you can ask the company if they do have an apartment already for you. They probably know what train stations are close to both your apartment and the schools. So you can kind of guess how much you'll need to pay for that. And if you are using a car or a scooter or the train, find out if the company will pay any amount of the transportation costs. Those are some things that you might have already thought of. Maybe some things you didn't even think about. And remember, when you first come, you're going to need some cash to set yourself up with. I know that you're going to bring a lot of things with you, your clothes, your toothbrush. Bring lots of deodorant, by the way. If you use stick deodorant, it doesn't exist here. But you'll want to have a good amount of base money to buy your pots and pans, your silverware, a dish and a cup, soap, laundry soap, just anything that may or may not be something that you use, or that you think you're going to have to use. And yeah, I hope this was helpful. And if you have any more questions, please send me a message or comment below, and I will try to answer them for you. Alright, have a good night.